Hello Taurus, how are you friends? Thank you so much for clicking here. Let's get on with the weekly, shall we? Taurus, how are you, my bull gang? I hope you're well. Thanks so much for all the ways you love me. We haven't looked at the Lenormand for a while. We're going to throw some Lenormand and then we're going to throw some tarot. I hope you're well. Let's find out what's going on here for the week ahead. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter, Taurus. This could be for you, and they're falling out already. Oh, we have card 44, which is the magnifying glass. Something's being looked at very closely. We do have the sarcophagus, and that is the ending of something, of course. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think it's called a sarcophagus. It feels as though there is... I feel like something has transformed. It feels like transformation only because it feels like something has died and will be resurrected in a much happier way, or a much more plentiful way. And then we have the whip and the broom, which is something that happens super quick. It stings just a little bit, and it might be because it's coming in quicker than you can receive it. So it's almost like something's going to happen really quick, and before you can even digest it, it's right in your face. It feels like you're going to want to go slower. You're going to want to go slower and look things over, because it looks as though there already has been like a death and a resurrection here is what it feels like. Something here, and it feels like it's the self, right? It feels like it's the self because it's card number 8. It does feel like you've let something go already, Taurus, and it's dead and buried and gone. And I feel like you were resurrected after this real hard transition, or this death of something that ended. And I feel like you have been, it feels like you've been like sort of gone through a rebirth, like something here ended and it was a permanent end. Feels like it could be anything really, a job, it could be a relationship for sure. But it feels like with this 9 of Pentacles in the bottom right-hand corner, it feels like you grew from that, and you grew a lot. Like the 9 of Pentacles is confidence and reputation, and I built something on my own. Like it made whatever ended here. I feel that you are looking back, looking over it really closely with a magnifying glass. And when you look at it that closely, card 44 is an 8 as well. We got a couple of 8s here. It feels like you realize that you had to go through that transformation in order to reap the benefits of being in the 9 of Pentacles, to realize your stability, that you could do it on your own and you really didn't need anybody to help you. It just would have been easier, of course, if you would have had someone help you build it, but you are stronger and more confident now because you built it on your own. It feels like whatever this is, it really stung. It really stung, and it happened super quick. But I also feel like something in the future is about to happen quick. But I don't think it's something that's going to sting. It feels like it happens quick. It happens quicker than you can, like I said, receive it or digest it. But I feel like it's coming in because you have received some sort of discipline, right? Because you can't be in the 9 of Pentacles without some sort of practical discipline. So I'm looking at the 11, and the 11's reminding me of balance or justice. It feels like whatever stung, as you look at it closer, it feels as though you realize now that you couldn't be the person that you are now if you hadn't gone through this terrible death and rebirth sort of energy. All right, bottom of the deck. Looks like something that was in disrepair is now about to be repaired. It's like communication, or somebody wants to bridge the gap. Oh, also an 11. Isn't that neat? 11, 11, and we've got a couple of 8s here. A couple of 8s here with a third 8 showing up. Look, that's abundance. Taurus, I feel like something here is about to show up and make you very happy, make you feel very confident and comfortable, celebratory even. Something that I feel you still think about today. But I think according to you, this thing is already dead and gone. But if you hadn't gone through this, I don't think you would be standing as tall as you are today. So I'm not telling you to be grateful and thankful for something that left your life. I'm just saying be thankful for the process that it brought to you, because I feel like you couldn't be where you are right now had this situation not happen before. And I think you're starting to see that now. I think you're seeing it because the magnifying glass is here. See what else is going on. Let's talk about the tarot, Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter. Taurus, don't forget, you got 4 days left on the sale. If you're interested in booking a private read, you get 10% off my pre-recorded readings. My live readings are always on sale. Please check the pinned comment for all of that stuff. All right, here we go. Yeah, you really have healed, friend. That's what it looks like here. You've really healed, and that's why you're able to look back on it with better detail. You're able to really look closely at it. I'm just going to see what we're looking at here. It does feel like, it looks like flowers. Oh, the Fool is here. Interesting. But this isn't the Fool from now. This is the Fool from like the very first deck they ever made. So maybe you felt like a fool, but now that you're looking back, you're seeing that you weren't a fool at all. That it was actually a lesson. You're seeing the purpose of it here. So we have the Page of Swords and the Two of Wands. So Taurus, I feel like whatever happened here forced you to come up with a plan on your own. It forced you to really dig deep, to do the work, to learn something new, to hone a skill. It feels like it's something you already knew, but it feels like you sharpened it, I want to say. You sharpened your voice, or you sharpened the skill. It feels like you began studying. The Four of Swords is here, and it is Libran energy, but it also is clarity, stability of the mind. It's healing as well. So that's why I'm saying that I feel like when you look back on it with this greater clarity, with this magnifying glass being here, it feels like you were actually in this as the student. And I don't think you realized it at the time, that this was supposed to be something that you were supposed to learn from and be able to grow from and become independent and have this glow up. You were supposed to have a greater respect for the self and more stability. The Two of Wands is here. I feel like it was part of the plan, I'm going to say. But the Two of Wands is, of course, planning. It's really good planning, but without more energy, you really can't put the plan in action. And a plan that doesn't have action behind it is dead. It feels like this Knight of Jack of Clubs here. That's the Knight of Wands. And to me, that's the third wand. I feel like you put some sort of a plan in place. You were like, yeah, fine. Don't believe me? Just watch Bruno Mars. I just saw him dancing for a second. Don't believe me? Just watch. Hang on a second here. Let me get some more cards for you, Taurus. We've got the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. You became stable. You healed. You became stable. You became stable of the mind. You got greater clarity. You started to realize that this was a painful time. 3 swords above his head, 1 on his chest. And that I think that you realized the truth of something, that this was part of a plan, a horribly painful plan. But we've got the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. It feels like you had no choice. This was, if you were given a choice, you would not have made this decision. And I feel like that's why this card had to show up here. We've got the 8 of Cups in the reverse. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles, Taurus. This is really a very clear reading. It feels like the plan is for you to learn something, become the student, realize that death is not the end, but simply a transformation of energy. It either has to end or transform. And I think since you didn't end, since you didn't fall down and not get up, I think that you transformed. And I think it was your choice to do so. I think you chose to go on a very long, sturdy and stable journey. And it almost feels like the plan is for you to come back to something and see the clarity of it. And now it kind of makes sense, I'm going to say, because the bridge is repaired and now we can cross the bridge. It's like you weren't able to cross the bridge because the bridge had probably fallen apart or was in disrepair. And I feel like you learned to become a bridge builder. Like, it feels like you learned to become a builder. You learned to realize that some things take time, and maybe now is not the right time for us to be able to reach each other in terms of speaking or communication. But I feel like you are going to be coming back to that, because I do believe that it's part of the plan. I feel like you're already off in the future, I'm going to say. I think that you have healed or transformed this pain. You know what? It almost feels like you've transformed this pain into the 9 of Pentacles. You used it as fodder. You used it as grease for the wheels. You know what I mean? So I feel like with this Knight of Pentacles, I feel like you've been on some sort of journey for a really long time, but it does feel like it's a healing journey. It's a journey of knowledge and digging up answers on your own. A lot of people will believe what other people tell them rather than doing their own research and really digging into things. And I think that you chose to look at the practical details, the analytics. You chose to dig into it by yourself. You didn't believe what anybody told you. I think that you decided, I'm going to just do this by myself and I will figure out what's going on. I don't need anybody's help. I never did. All right. Let's talk about this 4 of Swords here. Tell me about the 4 of Swords. Because you're seeing something clearer now. Because 4s are about stability. Stability of the mind, clarity, and healing. You're seeing something clearer now. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. Oh boy, I'm getting so much. Gosh, I forgot how much Lenormand lights up my brain. So that's the first card I put down. You can see that little fox is looking to the past. It feels like the past, the thing that happened in the past, actually built you. It feels like it helped you plant a seed that you may not have planted otherwise. It feels like you still remember what happened back there, but it really changed you, right? Owls are always about transformation or death. And we have a squirrel here. It made you industrious. You're like, yeah? Don't believe me? Just watch. We've got the 8 of Swords here. Don't ever tell Taurus that the round room doesn't have a corner, because Taurus will just build one and say, look, I proved you wrong, right? We've got the 8 of Swords here, and we've got the Page of Wands. So you got to business. Like, I feel like you were stuck probably in this energy, looking back there saying, I've got the seed, aren't you coming to help me plant? But I think that it was already over. And it was a time for you to go on this part of the journey by yourself and do it by yourself, so you could find the details, learn the thing, Virgo energy, right? So you could go back to school, find the thing, learn the thing. It feels like you learned something that you may have not learned otherwise if this transformation or the death of something didn't happen in your life. The Page of Wands is here, and the 8 of Swords is here. So I feel like you were really confused as to why all of this went on, but it feels like the Page of Wands shows up and says, look, now that something is gone, now that it's done, now you get to take as many risks as you want. Go find what makes you excited. Go find what thrills you. Go find where you want to travel to. The 2 of Wands and the 1 to me, or the 3 of Wands, where do you want to travel? Like, I feel like it looked like a terrible ending to you, but it was actually bridging you to something really wonderful. It was giving you the opportunity to cross over. Yes. Attraversiamo. Yes. Crossing over to the other side. And I don't mean like in the spirit realm, but I mean, really, it feels like the old you died at that moment and the new you was born, far more confident. And it's like somebody had put fire under your butt and you're like, yeah, you just wait. You wait, you'll see. You'll wish that you were around when I get my victory here. So I feel like this was a hard thing. I feel like it was really hard for you to deal with. Look, the 9 of Swords is here. Yeah. It feels like you all of a sudden didn't know, what am I going to do in the future now? Like, what does my future look like? I don't understand what my future is supposed to look like at this point. It feels as though you were living your life for someone else, or somebody else told you the way, and maybe they told you the wrong directions. You went to somewhere you weren't supposed to be. Generally, when the death or transformation cards come up, it's usually because it's the end of something. It's the end of the line. You've got the brick wall, and it's time for you to either change how you feel, change your mind, transform yourself, or this is the end of the line. You just get to sit by the wall until time ends. So we got the Fool here. So I feel like you wanted to be brave. You wanted to take a leap of faith. You know, it's really interesting here. Very interesting, because we do see this this card of the Fool, right? And I think I've said to you before, maybe I'm repeating myself if you've heard me say it before, but it feels like this was the Fool from the old deck, right? From one of the very first decks that was made, because they were fashioning these decks after the kingdoms, and every kingdom had a jester, and the jester would entertain the king or entertain people around them. It was never very serious when the jester around. The jester was supposed to make you forget about hard times, right? And so it feels like somebody here didn't want to be a fool, but you grew into this this energy of, it's like you grew from, now that you look at it closer, you see that you weren't actually a fool. You were actually being sent on some sort of a quest for growth. And now I think you see it, because the Fool is here. It feels like now you see the purpose was so you would finally push past your fears and take a leap of faith of some sort. Make your plan and take action on the plan. We've got the Ten of Cups in the reverse. I think what sent you on your way to become the better you was probably heartbreak, or maybe the family fell apart. Whether that's your family, maybe it was your marriage, or maybe it was like mother, sister, brother. It's like everything fell apart. Maybe you were in a relationship. It seems like everything fell apart, and the only thing that was left for you to do was to go on another path and enjoy the journey, because I think here you realize that nothing is permanent. The good news and the bad news both are, nothing is permanent. Everything will change. Everything's temporary. That's both the good news and the bad news. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles, please. Because it feels to me like you go on this really stable, slow-moving journey to rebuild something. Two of Pentacles here, one in the hand of the Knight. You start to rebuild something from the ground up. So nobody helped you. You did it by yourself, but you had to start from nothing, is what it feels like. Whether that was feeling like nothing or actually having no money and no job or something like that. So we have the Six of Cups. We have the Five of Swords. And we have the Seven of Swords. Well, that's really interesting, because it does feel like the journey that you were on was a journey of nostalgia, of the past. It feels like you got stuck in this journey of good and bad. It was like I have nostalgic, happy feelings that I've got to chance to know you for so long, but this is the end of the line. It feels like now that we know that we have fundamental differences, or we can't get along, or when the Five of Swords comes up, it's not just an argument or a fight. Somebody throws down their swords and walks away and says, I'm never coming back to this. There's no way you're ever going to convince me otherwise. So whatever that was the two opinions here, I want to say somebody may have lied to you about what their intentions were, or it feels like something like that. You really learned a very hard lesson about transformation, about death and rebirth. I think it was really tough. I just looked up, I think that was 16. No, 18 is what I saw. Okay, we're going to go into the extended here, Taurus, and we're going to talk more about this. I'm going to clarify all of this. We're going to talk about this bridge, where it comes from, who's on the other end, and what is the information that you learned about how to travel the bridge after you rebuilt it. We're going to talk about what this lesson was, and what was this? Was this whatever it is, the Ten of Cups is in the reverse, so it's like disillusionment. I thought it was going to be different, but now it looks like you're forced to take action on your own plan, and you don't know where you're at because you're the Fool. You have no idea. You've never been at this place before. So it might have been a parting of ways after being at a job for like 20 years, getting laid off, or it might have been a relationship that ended, or a marriage that ended. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the risks that you took, and if you want to come into the extended, that's where we'll be. Please look at the pinned comment. There is a link to the membership area, and if you're interested, that's where I do all the extendeds, by the way. If you're interested in that, you can go there. If you are interested in a private read, you do have 4 days left on the sale. It ends on the 15th at midnight, and you will get 10% off. Please take the code that is in the pinned comment. It's Celebration 2026. Happy 4th of July. Happy Canada Day. It's a month of celebration. Let's go and find out what's going on here. And if you're in the extended, I will see you there. There also is a little bit of information about the sale, which is different for the membership than it is for the wider platform. So if you're interested in coming there and seeing that, check the community board if you're the member, and you will see everything there. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Thanks, Taurus. Take care. Bye-bye.